What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We got a live CHGO Bulls pregame coming up for y'all right around the corner. Final game of the Bulls homestand. The Hornets in town. LaMelo Ball is active. We're finally going to get the LaMelo versus Lonzo brother showdown that we have been waiting for a long time. Before that, we're going to talk about some of that blow up in the Bulls locker room after their ugly loss to the Hawks on Wednesday and what Billy just said about it pregame tonight. That's coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Happy Friday, happy weekend. Welcome into CHGO Bulls pregame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's my guy, Big Dave. Bow! BAWL Sports. Four-time champ, Uncle Will_Perdue 32.
Giddy up.
Queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. What's up, Katie?
Hi, I put 3 basketballs on the table because it's the Ball brothers.
Ah, I see what you did there. Yes,
Who's who?
All of them are in the house tonight.
Well, I know who Lonzo is, but
Lonzo's the Bulls ball.
yes,
Yeah,
but it's
Lonzo.
well, Lonzo's the front one.
LiAngelo is also here tonight in the house.
Is he a little halftime entertainment?
I don't. That would be a well-kept secret if it was.
That'd be cool though.
I
That
mean,
would be cool.
Pretty good halftime entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm going to sing my one song and I'm out.
Is LeVar here?
Ooh, good
That's what I
question.
wanted.
Oh,
He's
he's got to
done
be,
I feel
right?
like
It's gotta
if he
be, right?
was,
Gotta
we
be.
would have seen him somewhere on social media by now.
Very good point. But Katie, who represents what? What ball?
You know,
represents
I really didn't think about that. Obviously, Lonzo's the front one.
what? Right, correct.
Yes.
You could probably say LaMelo is the one on the left because it's not Bulls themed.
Stage left.
Oh,
My,
this
sorry,
one.
my left,
Yes.
not your
Okay.
left. My left.
I was thinking LaMelo because that one has like the Hornets sky blue color to it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's more of a colorful guy.
Okay.
So I would think that would be him as well. I agree.
All right, so
and
yeah.
and LiAngelo's just, you know,
Yeah,
It's
he's just-
And
the
Peggy.
off-forgotten normal
Yes.
orange basketball.
and
Yeah.
Peggy.
And Peggy. The Ball sisters.
But I will say that he does understand the definition of accessories, but most of the time it's your bag matches your shoes, not your outfit matches your $250,000 car.
Oh, well, you ain't doing it right then. Well, you got to match the car, man. You've never matched your car
In your
before?
playing days? Thank you, Dave. I was about to ask the same thing.
I've done that several times.
Yeah, I
I've never
matched the
your car.
matchbox I carried in my front pocket.
How much was the matchbox?
I mean, what was that, $1.25?
Still balling, Will.
Still balling.
Still balling, man.
Now you're just rocking that Vandy decal on your back window. I like that.
Oh,
Okay, so we are going to talk about the Ball brothers showdown later on in tonight's pregame, but we wanted to start by kind of wrapping up the ugliness of what happened after their loss to the Hawks on Wednesday, because in case you missed it, there was some things being said by Bulls players in the locker room. A frustrated Vooch stood up and spoke out, and we talked about it a little bit with Goat in that postgame, and he gave us the lowdown. Coby White also basically said, yeah, Vooch spoke up, and he was right to say what he said. Katie, if you have that quote from Coby, we'll start there. He said, Billy Donovan really didn't have to say much. Vooch said it all. Stop doing the dumb stuff that we've been doing. Stop not boxing out, not rebounding. Stop with the switch confusion. Stop getting back cut. Stuff that we've been dealing with all year, and Vooch is 100% correct. He spoke up, and he dug into us. Now, here is Vooch himself talking after the fact about what he spoke up and said to his teammates. Quote, it's all the things that we can control, that coaches have been pointing out to us, and we just don't do them. Rebounding, off-ball defense, turnovers, things like that. Things we can control. So that's what bothered me. Losing is part of it. We could do all the right things and still lose, but tonight, we just didn't do any of them. Strong words. Now, if you please, Katie, here is what Billy Donovan said just about an hour ago in his pregame media availability tonight about that quasi-players meeting that took place after the loss on Wednesday.
So, I mean, I'm always fine with that. I think they need to have those conversations. So, I thought what Vooch said after the game was really, really dead on the money and extremely accurate.
Do you stay in there when a guy just?
And there's sometimes like if they, like last year, if they're in a situation, sometimes they'll say to me, can we just meet? And I'm fine. Generally they'll come to me on that, and I certainly respect the locker room and their time there. I was in there. Vuce just came up to me and said, "Listen, can I talk?" And I said, "Sure." So I let him go, and he spoke, and I was in there for that.
How do you react to, like I brought up Coby? I remember doing the same thing earlier this year. Do you like that there's like different voices and different people taking ownership at times in situations?
Yeah, I mean, we're all in it together, right? So we all just got to be, pulling the boat, rowing the boat in the same direction. I mean, that's really all what it comes down to. I don't think all the time the messaging needs to come from me all the time. I think sometimes it coming from the players is a good thing too. And I wouldn't say that Vuce in any way was like going after anybody or anything like that. It was just more as a collective, the things that we needed to get better at. And quite honestly, it's the things that I talked about with you guys after the game. On the rebounding and the turnovers and that stuff that has been a problem that needs to get corrected.
Yeah, even game plan stuff, controllable stuff.
Yeah, and I've always said that about this team. You know what I mean? Is like, listen, we mentioned even before the year started that we were going to have some challenges in certain areas playing the game, and I think we have done a little bit of a 180 offensively. But my feeling is always, when you're looking out, like there's going to be some times that we're going to be outsized on blockouts. And if you see a guy in there fighting and competing and he just happens to maybe not be tall enough or strong enough but when you're not checking out at all and you're not hitting anybody at all, not attempting to do that, that's a problem. Those are controllable things that I think that we've got to do a better job controlling. And I've always viewed it that way. What are the things that we can control, and are we doing those things on a high enough level? And I think Vuce felt like we weren't. I was obviously in a line with him. When he spoke, I think basically that's exactly how I felt.
There you go. Bulls head coach Billy Donovan earlier tonight saying that's exactly how I felt, revisiting what Vuce said to his fellow teammates in that Bulls locker room after their ugly loss Wednesday. The thing that Coby, Vuce, and Billy all just said in one way or another was control the things we can control, Will.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, as a former player, a fan, this is something that you are glad to hear because that's the players are attempting to take accountability for the mistakes that they are making. Because we talk about a coach can only say so much. It's the responsibility of the players to execute what's being said. They have a choice to do it or not to do it. So obviously, according to Vuce, they weren't doing it. And I think by what we saw against Charlotte, what we saw against New Orleans, what's the next one that I'm missing?
Wizards.
Sacramento.
Yeah. They're not doing it. Now, listen, we all know Atlanta. Sacramento was an entertaining game. Okay, but it's their mistakes that cost them. But my issue with this isn't the first time we've heard this.
Yes.
So why should I sit here and go, okay, this is different. Things are going to be different. They're definitely going to redefine the word insanity for me, and things are going to change. Okay? And if I ever make a statement, guys, and I'm not correct, please correct me. But did we not just hear Billy basically break down the definition of integrity and how they're attempting to play and they're not trying to lose? And then basically a week later, we're having a quasi, it is, it isn't, whatever it is. It's not really a team meeting, but Vuce felt it was necessary to stand up and talk on behalf of the players to the players. Those are usually the most powerful of speeches or words. So you've had a day to digest. You're playing a team that you should beat. The question is, what will the effort be like from the get-go? Will you be sluggish? Will you be on your game? I don't care if you freaking go out and shoot 1 for 15. But if you play like you did last game, that's what I have a huge problem with, because you're basically, what was that? People always make these sayings about something. There's no D and whatever, but it's just like, if you guys don't want to come out and play with effort and at least try to, because as Vuce said, there's many times you can play well and still lose. Now you're just as pissed off, but when you go back and look at the film, you're like, wow, we didn't really play that bad. We just got beat by a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for one reason or another. But there's no way you should lose to that Wizard team. No way. With the talent you had on the floor. Now, if it was the ninth game in 6 nights or some ridiculous number, I got that backwards, but there's got to be excuses. But I'm still to this day trying to figure out how the hell you lost that game. But then the effort that you showed, against Atlanta, and it's just so, okay, I want to honestly try to put that behind me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the past comes up and catches up in my brain and is like, wait a minute, don't be fooled. We've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
But you want me to just clean the slate, throw it out the window, and not even thinking about the past.
Yeah. What do you think of this whole players meeting, not players meeting, and Billy echoing some of what Vuce said tonight, Dave?
I mean, Will kind of just said a lot about what I was thinking in my head. Like, I've heard all this before.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. And okay, yes, they took accountability. Yes, that's great to hear. The action is what I'm more concerned about than anything. I'm tired of all the talking about it. We've seen the team meetings before. We know that these guys take accountability. We know Coby does this. We know Io does this. We know Zach does. I know all this about them already. It hasn't changed the product on the floor. They're still doing the same things. They're going to have another game like this, like they had. They're going to do it again. And Matt knows this about me. There's nothing that pisses me off more than lack of effort on the floor. Like, I can take the loss. Like, I'll be fine with that. But the lack of effort and looking like you don't care will forever always piss me off. So my thing is, if you know that this team is giving this kind of effort and the rah-rah speeches aren't working, well, then what's the action?
Right.
For me, the action is taking certain dudes out of the lineup and trying some new stuff. Like, that's the action for me. That's what I want to see. So why keep doing the same thing, as Will says, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? That's what doesn't make sense to me. What's up, Will?
And I did want to reply to that. I personally think that now, it's just from watching the games, okay? Going back, looking at the numbers. I think that Billy now, whether he'll want to admit it or not, that's fine. I think he's starting to send that message to certain players. P. Will played 19 minutes the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Certain guys are coming in before other guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did he take out the last game that didn't play as many minutes as we think would?
Dalen didn't play a lot.
Right.
Well, and the
Julian
other night,
Phillips.
Pat only played 20.
Yeah.
Right. But I think he's gone to sending nonverbal messages.
Oh, Josh Giddey.
Giddey.
Yeah.
I think he's basically just started to the point because regardless of what people want to talk about, Billy's terrible, Billy's got to go, Billy's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
These losses go on his record. Nobody else's.
Exactly.
Billy's like, wait a minute. If what he said was true and we've gotten no signs, no direct orders to tank or lose games, and because of the integrity of the game, I, as the coach, want to win, and these guys don't want to fall in line, then I need, and I think that that's kind of where that little speech came from about, mediocrity and still trying to figure out guys that want to do this, that, and the other. Do you have that quote from the article on Monday?
What?
In the Athletic?
Billy talking about mediocrity?
Yeah, but what was the word he used? And I apologize.
We don't want to just be stuck in the middle, one?
Keep going, yeah.
But I think the building out part that we have to look at is the totality of our entire team, where you're identifying guys that are going to help us maybe get out of the middle and move forward. And I do think we do have and I do think we have guys on our team that, to me, emulate or model a competitiveness that I like and appreciate.
But I think, to me, that speaks volumes to the fact that he thinks there's some that don't.
Yeah.
But
That's
he
the
can
part of
do
that
something
that is
about it.
unsaid, maybe, if you want to read the tea leaves a little bit in what Billy was saying.
But he can do
here's
things about it.
Here's the thing.
He's in control of that.
No, you're exactly right. But here's the thing, coming from a former player, that I've learned playing for 3 different organizations with numerous players.
Flex.
Until back then, the story leaked out about the unhappiness of an organization with the player, or players not playing up to the standards that we expect, or the old saying is, well, he needs a break, or whatever it may be. You knew how an organization felt, and they took the necessary actions. This is part of where I feel like the players have a little too much say sometimes, and whether it be organizations, whether coaches are like, well, I don't know if they could really handle how I want to really handle this situation, how I as the coach want to handle it.
You're saying the players, you don't know how they will handle it. Is that what you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
If I really drop the hammer, I may lose this guy.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Then lose them. Like if it was about the team that is 25-18 or something like that.
I agree with you 100%.
You, bro. But when you losing, bro, like I don't care about your feelings go out the window at some point in time for me, because what you're doing on the floor isn't helping me win. So I have to, obviously what I'm talking to you like isn't working. Well, then I'm gonna go the other routes. Bye. You got to get off the floor. I'm gonna yell at you. That's why I'm gonna. That's me though. That's
okay, but that right there classifies as old school.
Okay.
Because remember, like,
Today's old school.
When we talk about Pat Williams,
mm-hmm.
what are we questioning? His motor, right? Not questioning his skill set, his motor. But then I've always, as an old school guy like you, when did motor fall into skill set? It used to be either he's a player or he's not. Now it's like, what do you like about that guy? Ooh, he's got a motor. Okay, but can he dribble? No, but he's got a motor. Can he shoot? No, but he's got a motor.
Oh, you talking about Dale Terry right now?
Get off my guy.
That's pretty rough.
Oh, come on. That was right over the middle of the plate.
I know. You got to swing.
That was correct, yeah.
It was
correct. And
that was Bull Durham right there.
Yeah.
Fastball.
Right down the middle.
Dalen sure does have a motor.
He's got a motor.
That's my point. When did motor become such a skills? What did it? I thought that was like a given. You didn't even have to mention that.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's a skill set.
Because a lot of teams lack guys with that. Like,
don't draft them then.
Who want to get out there and show that they want to be on the floor and play. We say it about Modest now. At least I do. I'm like, dude, I love Modest's motor. And skill.
I do, but Modest has also got skills.
But it's so lacking on this team that when you see somebody doing it and with it, you're like, hey, somebody wants to play basketball. I'm very excited about this. Like that's what excites me, because who has it? Who looks like they want to be out there?
This is the great thing about playing 82 games, is the ability to redeem yourself. I understand it's Charlotte and I understand it's one game, but here's a chance to kind of push back a little bit, show some integrity, accountability, professionalism, and really go out and drum somebody.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this is an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
You've checked all the boxes of what you should say, but what is it that we always talk about? To what you say and how you act.
Yeah, two different things, man. Saying ain't like doing.
I had a conversation with my son. He flew back home Thursday after hanging out here for a couple of days, and I said, listen, you can tell me whatever you want, but I always judge you by your actions. I'd much rather you not say anything but do the right thing than say the right thing but not do the right thing.
Yep.
Saying ain't like doing, Dave?
Never.
Look, I mean, also, as a part of this conversation, shout out our guy Darnell Mayberry, does great stuff, covering the Bulls for The Athletic. He had something today that was like, okay, yes, a rah-rah speech, as you were calling it, Dave, and the players meeting, whatever you want to call it, can sometimes be a temporary fix of certain issues and maybe light a fire under some guys, and we'll see how the Bulls respond tonight when they tip off in about 15 minutes. But that only gets you so far.
Yes.
When there are lots of other deep-rooted problems from top to bottom in the organization.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about who the leaders are, Billy will, as Perdue says often, like cover for his guys and take accountability, and this is on me, and we're trying to win. We're trying to play with integrity. Sometimes the players, maybe not often enough, will take accountability and put that on their own shoulders. But in a weird, messy season like this one, we're like, all right, so Vooch asked Billy, can I speak to the guys in the locker room tonight? And we spent all of yesterday's show talking about Vooch getting traded to the Warriors, right? Zach LaVine, the other star vet player on this team, has been in and out of trade rumors. for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about who is the leader in the locker room. It's a really messy situation.
Yeah.
I will say, whether it be Wednesday night and what he said about Vooch digging into them or many other instances over this season and last season as his play was ascending, Coby White is a name that I keep coming back to who like not only talks the talk but walks the walk on this team.
Absolutely he is. And that's why he is where he is right now on this team as far as in that starting lineup and a guy that they lean on and depend on. You see him talking to those guys during the game. Like, you see it all the time from Coby. But for me, it's got to be somebody else. It's got to be a bigger person on the floor. I think that's why Vooch stepped out and said, what he said to those guys. Because, again, this is no disrespect to Coby at all. But Vooch is the one that people are talking about to be the all-star. But sometimes it's just not in you. Sometimes you just ain't that kind of guy. And you don't have to be, but just ain't that kind of guy. Like I know you know this. Like, Tim Duncan just wasn't that kind of guy. Like, that wasn't him. David Robinson wasn't that kind of guy, but those dudes were leaders. You know what I mean? They still knew how to lead their guys, and they led probably more by example. You can speak to this more than I can.
Tim was the master of nonverbal communication. He spoke volumes with his eyes, and he spoke other volumes with how he played.
And how he played every night was hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, every night, hard, dog. He led by that way. It has to be that on the Bulls. It seems like they need verbal confirmation on certain things, and they have to have those kind of talks, which is great for Caruso was here, which is great when DeMar was here. Those guys can talk. Those guys had no problem communicating those things. They don't have that anymore. Zach isn't that kind of guy. He never has been. That kind of guy. He's definitely by example, doing my job, follow me, watch what I'm doing, and don't, worry about what I'm saying too much. Just watch what I'm doing out here on this floor and follow that. So they need that, man. Like, and some of that I put on the coach.
And it's interesting at putting it on the coach. Chris Davis in the comments just saying effort is just one reason why I think we need a new head coach. I want a coach that's going to connect and bring out the most of our players consistently. To me, Billy just seems too nice. And like, this to me is the thing that whether it be Bulls fans or any sports fans, when they're talking about a head coach and what they're looking for, and all this talk among Bears Nation and the coach, like leader of men, and get out of here with that crap.
Don't do this again.
But when it comes to the Bulls,
the men,
and who they've had over the last, decade and a half, Tom Thibodeau, hard guy, plays his guys heavy minutes, asks a lot of them, makes them practice hard. Bulls got a little tired of that. His players got a little tired of that. Tibbs gets kicked out. Who do they replace him with? Fred Hoiberg. Oh, Fred Hoiberg. He's too much of a nice guy. He's not holding his players accountable. He and Jimmy Butler butted heads like within weeks because Jimmy said he wasn't coaching hard enough. Okay, so we get rid of Fred. What do we bring in? A hard-headed guy, the bald-headed menace. Jim Boylan, prepare the children for the road. Well, this guy's an idiot. He might be hard-headed and hard on his players, but he can't coach his way out of a paper bag.
A wet one.
So Jim Boylan's a clown, a hard-headed clown. What do we replace him with? Billy Donovan, a nice guy, a player's coach. Really nice. I'll take the bullets for all of my players. Y'all stay safe in the locker room. We flip-flop back and forth. What kind of coach do you want?
The balance.
The kind that we don't have right now always seems to be the answer.
But everybody you've named, like, it's a complete 180 every single time. It's an extreme every single time. Tibbs is an extreme. Fred Hoiberg is an extreme. Ball-headed menace is an extreme. Billy Donovan is an extreme. There's nothing down the middle. There's nothing down the line. And again, that's on the front office. When I need you to have your pulse on your team and understand what your team kind of needs. Billy Donovan was your right coach when you put that first team together. That's exactly what you kind of needed because everybody was nice. Everybody was hugging each other, high-fiving. Lonzo, alley-oops all day to Caruso with the right amount of stank in Caruso. You know what I mean? And DeMar DeRozan, who ain't taking no guff from nobody. But, man, like at some point in time, you have to kick somebody in the ass every once in a while. You don't have to do it all the time. Look, man, I'm a nice dude, okay? Like, everybody knows I get along. I'm friendly with all that.
Some people be lying to you.
There's a point in time. Well, let me tell you the truth then. There's a point in time. You know what I'm saying? There's always a balance. There's a point in time where that goes out the window, and we just going to get to it. And I'm going to be for real with you, 100% with you and what is going wrong and what needs to be done. That's how I just need it as a coach. I just feel like I need that balance. Like, before I get this to you, I feel like Phil Jackson was that kind of balance. And of course, I'm not saying Phil Jackson is out here, we're going to get that. I'm just saying that kind of balance of tough, but also knows how to put his arm around you. You know what I'm saying? When
Greg
you need
Popovich.
it. Exactly. But again, maybe I'm just naming great coaches. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just saying, hey, we just need a great coach and things will change around here. I don't know.
But here's the other issue is people want that perception out there that they want the truth. Be honest with me. Tell me exactly how you feel.
They don't want that shit.
They don't want it. Because when you do then tell them behind closed doors, that guy's got to go, man.
Yeah, right. Man, he's too tough.
No, but
yeah.
the perception is out there that you're a tough guy and you're a badass and
yeah.
you want to know the truth and you want to know how it is and coach me harder. And
the Bears are dealing with this now. You know what I mean? Right now, they're dealing with this. Like, they just got rid of the nice guy, and then they brought in Thomas Brown, who is not the nice guy. And Caleb loves him, but then they're like, okay, now we got to find a guy who can balance that and be on the balance tip with that. You got to have a hard ass at some time, but you got to put your arm around them too.
It's a tricky puzzle that I don't see the Bulls solving anytime soon. But it'll be interesting to see how much longer Billy sticks around when this is what it is. Okay,
Yeah.
so with our little bit of remaining time, let's actually shift gears and talk about tonight's game. Real quick, starting lineups. Zach did pop up on the last injury report today with a illness, but he is given the green light. He's going to fight through it and play. So your starting lineup for the Bulls, as is the usual, Coby and Giddey, Zach, Pat, and Vooch. For the Hornets, meanwhile, Brandon Miller has been ruled out. He's been dealing with his sprained wrist. Grant Williams remains out with the ACL injury. Trey Mann also out with disc irritation. Mark Williams does get the green light and is in the starting lineup, along with LaMelo Ball, Nick Smith Jr., Miles Bridges, and Jeff Green. So there's your starting five for the Hornets. Their solid bench player, Musa Diabate, also on the injury report, also given the green light, so he's available for them. But, of course, everybody tonight tuning in to see Ball versus Ball.
I do want to give love to Mark Williams because I was pretty high on him in the draft when he came out. He had a 31-13 game. He is the first Hornet to do that since Larry Johnson.
Woo!
To have a 30-10 game. First one to do that.
That's impressive.
He's awesome.
For you kids out there, Larry Johnson played a long time ago. So that's a pretty impressive stat.
And played with Kendall Gill. Shout out to him.
That's right.
right.
But yeah, like he's awesome. I'm interested to see if he can continue that tonight going against Vooch.
So with obviously LaMelo and Lonzo are playing different roles for their respective teams this season. Lonzo, incredible comeback story this year, has been playing more and more minutes, but save for one exception where the Bulls were shorthanded, been playing a bench role. LaMelo not only is starting and leading the Hornets in scoring, he's among the league leaders. His 29 and change is fourth in the NBA in points per game right now. So I decided to look at their minutes or their stats per 36 to kind of balance things out and see what Lonzo's providing and what LaMelo's providing in their respective minutes for their teams. And LaMelo's per 36 are pretty close to his actual stats because he's averaging like 34 and a half minutes a game.
Right.
But so there you see it. Like respectable shooting numbers, not great. He's shooting a crazy high volume of threes at 33.5%. Also doing some solid playmaking with his assist numbers. He also has a 38 usage percentage for these Hornets when he's out there right now. Everything they do runs through LaMelo Ball. And meanwhile, for Lonzo, obviously much more modest numbers, even as per 36. But, I mean, look at his assists and his boards in per 36 style, plus the steals.
It's nasty.
When Lonzo is out there, he is super productive.
Yeah, and he continues to show that. You know, he takes these games pretty serious when he plays his brother like that. So I would have started Lonzo just for that aspect, but also he's been playing really, really, really well, man. He's really been deserving of that, and the team is different when he's out there on the floor. They continue to show that time and time and time again. But, yeah, we're here for the matchup. I can't wait to see it. LaMelo, man, is just – this dude is entertaining beyond words because he plays like nobody else is out there with him, man. He dances like nobody else is out there, man. And he's shooting from half. He don't care. He'll throw it off the backboard to himself, catch it, and then toss an alley-oop to someone. Like, he's entertainment. I can't wait to see it. This is going to be terrifying, though, for a guy like Josh Giddey and a guy like Coby having to guard him to start off because previously, the last time they met, it was Lonzo.
Yeah.
That's a different that's a different beast. Having, your brother knows your moves. Having to start off against Giddey, who's not a great defender, or even Coby, who's a solid defender, but dude, Melo's a monster, dude.
Well,
like,
hopefully we'll get at least a couple of times up and down the floor where it's ball versus ball one-on-one. That should, make some entertainment this evening.
There's a lot of jokes there.
We have hit the 7 o'clock hour. That means
I want to say one thing before we go. So,
not a joke, is it?
No.
Okay.
I don't want Katie to get mad at me.
She will.
But I do want to follow up on something that Mr. Peck did yesterday.
Okay.
Real quick, Mr. Peck posted on X. Just want you all to know that even in a season or seasons like this, when as a diehard Bulls fan I feel so damn hopeless and mad, it always brings me joy to talk with you passionate fans about this team. Truly a dream job, wins or losses. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I read that, made me smile.
Mm-hmm.
Still a wacko.
Well, obviously.
It also reminded me, and what makes me feel so honored to not just sit here and talk with you guys about the game of basketball and Bulls basketball, but just the time frame I was here, the fans that I've had the ability to play for, people that I meet on an everyday basis. Today at Target, today at Mariano's, people came up and wanted to talk basketball, even considering how things are going. And I feel very fortunate to be in this position, but it is fun to work with guys that are so passionate about a team and fight through their feelings to try to put together a show.
Every day is a battle, Will.
Yeah.
Every day is a battle.
That we can pretty much guarantee will go off the rails at some point.
Well,
it wouldn't be a show if it didn't.
We got to keep ourselves and y'all entertained.
It's going to go.
Keep things light. Yeah. Obviously, sometimes things aren't as light, and I get cranky and throw hats and things, but that's all part of being a fan. Short for fanatic, right?
Short for fanatic.
Let's hope we get an entertaining game. Bulls Hornets, LaMelo versus Lonzo.
75 threes.
Let's go. Finish the home stand strong. Why not?
Why not?
You're 5 under. You got to get back to at least 4. I abide by the golden rule. Thanks for tuning into pregame, y'all. Appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet before you head out of here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you come right back here for live postgame after Bulls Hornets. See you, Rebby. Good.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.